Hi guys, we just wanted to give you an update since it's hurricane season and the maps seem to be showing a hurricane bearing down on Florida. So we get asked, especially by our neighbors, what do we do with all these animals during a hurricane? And so we understand our neighbors might be a little concerned that some of these alligators would be out roaming in the streets after a hurricane, but we have a plan, and as part of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, we have to have a plan, and we'll implement that plan depending on what the storm does. But we will definitely lower the water in all of these enclosures because we're going to get a lot more water. And the truth is, all of these animals, the alligators and crocodiles especially, kind of feel the low pressure and they know something's going on and they tend to submerge to the bottom of the water. So even if you remove 3 or 4 walls of the exhibits that they're in, they still would stay in the water because that's where they're most comfortable. But in our zoo, if an animal were to, a fence were to get knocked over, that just means that they're out of that particular enclosure. They'd actually have to go through at least 2 fences to be off of our property. In some cases, it's 3 or 4 fences. So we have met all those requirements as far as AZA and Fish and Wildlife goes. But then we, of course, have other animals that we're more concerned about with the wind and the water that's going to come. Alligators can handle water and wind with no problem, but we have monkeys and lemurs and birds and things, and we actually know, because we've been through a lot of storms over the last 125 years, that we can capture every one of our birds and monkeys in about 3 hours. So we have time to wait and to see what the storm's actually doing before we make that call. But then once we do have to make that call, we would capture them, put them in those air kennels, or the kennels you see dogs riding in the airplane on, and they would go into our strongest building, which is our Komodo dragon building. And that building is strong. It's made out of concrete block and steel frame, and the entire building runs off of a generator, so we can provide AC and the water that they need, and check on them every now and again for food and that kind of thing. So it's trickier with birds and mammals because we don't want them to be confined for too long, but it's the most important thing to do if there's a risk that a tree could take down their enclosure. So some time ago we had a hurricane, and we have a few rather large birds that didn't fit in a sky kennel so well. So you may have seen that picture of one of our big storks. We locked him up in the bathroom. That's a secure spot. It's got a drain, and we knew that the building would still be there after the hurricane blew through. So that was a viral photo of one of our storks standing in the bathroom, which made people laugh, but it is a way to handle what we do with the bigger birds and sometimes even bigger primates. So if you guys are wondering what's going on with our place, please follow us on social media. We'll be giving updates, especially on Twitter, as we have the ability to do so. And please make sure that you're responsible in your social media efforts. A couple years ago, we had a rumor that our alligators had gotten out during a hurricane, and it actually put our Fish and Wildlife officer's life at risk because he had to come investigate that in the middle of the storm to prove out that it wasn't true. But people were worried about it, as they should be if that were actually the case. But our animals were all safe and sound, and we're happy to let you guys know each and every time we go through this process what we're doing.